Hey guys, so Luffy's fruit has been a very hot topic recently in the One Piece community, and rightfully so, as we are getting a lot of hints about it seemingly not being what its name suggests. Now, in an arc centered around ZOAN devil fruits, and the strongest creature in the world himself, Kaido, that's King of Beasts Kaido if I might add, all of those just might have been hints as to what Luffy's devil fruit really is. Now, without further ado, let's start this theory. This theory will be about why Luffy's devil fruit is actually the mythical ZOAN Nika Nika no Mi. So, just a little bit of background about Nika, the sun god, before we do start this theory. Nika, as stated by Who's Who, was a legendary warrior who could have possibly been mythical and was revered by many in the One Piece world for freeing slaves and bringing about smiles. It was revered so much actually that it was given the name Sun God. So in the most recent chapter, we see Zanisha mentioning the drums of liberation and that Joy Boy has returned, with the scene cutting immediately to Luffy having a grin on his face and seemingly melting. Now let's detail these points. Point number 1, drums of liberation, which could be a reference to the freeing of slaves, to liberate or give freedom. And we know that liberating slaves is very heavily attributed to Nika. Now point number 2, Joy Boy has returned, which could be a reference that Joy Boy, or the man who had that title or fulfilled that title in the past, centuries ago even, ate that same fruit Luffy had and was able to use its awakening, which could have looked a little something like the picture we had of Nika when Who's Who was talking about them. But more on that a little later. It could also be the case that the fruit's awakening gives off a sound, or Zanisha was able to sense it when it awakened, which could be a reason why Zanisha said that Joy Boy has returned. Now, one more reason is that mythical, or not mythical, but zones in general, their awakening is said to provide very strong resilience and sort of like reviving capabilities, which was mentioned by Crocodile. Now, it could be the case that Luffy was down and out, basically out of commission, and then his mythical zone fruit awakened and he basically recovered, right? Now point number 3, and this one's kind of obvious, but Luffy has a grin on his face and we know that Nika is associated with smiles. And then point number 4, Luffy's seemingly melting, or his hair is seemingly melting. But is that what's really going on here? Because I think it could be the case that it is taking a certain shape, similar to how Nika's hair was portrayed in the picture when Who's Who was speaking about them. Now all those points cover and support the theory that it could be the Nika Nika no Mi, but there is definitely more evidence for this. So there was actually a famous SBS a while back, a question given to Oda before, that highlighted basically Straw Hat members that ate a devil fruit and the names of the devil fruit as well as their association with numbers, right? Now, Luffy's devil fruit was the Gomu Gomu no Mi, and I say was because I believe that this is the fruit the world government was talking about and is afraid of, and therefore it's not its real name, right? But with the Gomu Gomu no Mi, we basically have the numbers 5 and 6, so Go gives us 5 and Mu gives us 6, right? Robin's devil fruit is the Hana Hana no Mi, which Ha gives us 8 and Na gives us 7, right? We have the numbers 8 and 7. Now, Chopper's devil fruit is the Hito Hito no Mi, which He gives us 1 and 2 gives us 10. So we have 1 and 10. So 5, 6, 8, 7, 1, 10. And Brook's devil fruit is the Yomi Yomi no Mi, which Yo gives us 4 and Mi gives us 3, right? So now we have all the numbers except for 2 and 9. Now with this theory, we're assuming that Luffy's fruit's actually the Nika Nika no Mi, right? So Ni gives us 2 and Ka gives us 9, which gives us the remaining numbers 2 and 9 for a total of numbers from 1 to 10, which is the amount of Straw Hat members we have. And if you add up the numbers together, you get 325, which is interpreted as Sani Go, our beloved ship. Now I don't think this is a mere coincidence, though it could be. But you may be asking, well, what happened to the numbers 5 and 6, right? Aren't we missing them? Well, actually, and this will kind of blow your mind, and credit someone in the Discord I was talking to actually. They mentioned that 9 and 2 flipped, which are the numbers for Nika, look exactly like 5 and 6, right? So Nika in a way gives us 5 and 6 as well as 2 and 9, which is absolutely genius in my opinion because it fulfills all of those numbers, right? So it supports that as well, and seeing from Oda's reaction as well, he's seemingly very shocked by someone finding this out, right? Now you might be asking, well, if the fruit's that dangerous to the world government, why didn't they send an admiral or CP0 to just kill Luffy right before he got so powerful? Well, we have to remember that this fruit last awakened centuries ago, and what the world government saw centuries ago could have been its awakening, which could have been used severely differently than what Luffy is doing now, right? Or before the awakening. What they could have interpreted its powers to be when they first evaluated it back then, or centuries ago, was from appearance and the possibility of several different powers. So it might not have been brought to their attention that a pirate from the East Blue, namely Luffy, was using that fruit. It could have very well just have been a different fruit that was capable of stretching. In fact, Shanks could have actually lied to even Luffy and told him it was called the Gomu Gomu no Mi, which is different than the fake name that the government had given it. And the reason Shanks would do this is to protect Luffy so the government wouldn't trace back his fruit to the legendary fruit, right? If we look at the portrayal of the sun god Nika and Who's explanation, we also see that their limbs appear to be rubbery or similar to that. So a rubber body or something similar could actually be a property of the fruit. Now, I want to also put a pointer that Luffy looked like he was completely out of commission, and I raised this point before, but I believe that ZOAN awakenings are capable of seemingly reviving the user, and awakened ZOAN users show very strong resilience. Now, according to Crocodile's comments in Empel Down, that is. Now, just to summarize everything, so the portrayal of Sun God Nika in Who's explanation will be a good depiction of what Luffy will look like after he awakens, in my opinion, and the seemingly melting hair we see in the final panel where Luffy's grinning might not actually be his hair melting, but it could be his hair transforming or carrying on characteristics to look like the depictions of Sun God Nika in Who's explanation. Now, point number 2, the sounds Zunisha hears may be attributed to the fruit's awakening. Maybe they sense that the mythical ZOAN, Nika's back, right? Which could be the fruit that Joy Boy used way back. And the reason Luffy showed that he was out of commission and now he's seemingly back is because mythical zones are capable of, or zones in general are capable of reviving or recovering the user when they're awakened. Now, point number 3, the world government didn't know of it until now was because the way Luffy uses the fruit could have been severely different than the way it was used centuries ago. And point number 4, it could also be the case that the Gomu Gomu no Mi was not even the fake name that they gave it, but it was a different fake name. And Shanks told Luffy it was the Gomu Gomu no Mi in order to protect him from the world government, so that basically they wouldn't be able to trace back Luffy's fruit to the legendary fruit. Now, the way Sun God Nika is depicted in Who's explanation features limbs that seem rubbery or have rubbery characteristics, and that could parallel the way Luffy danced in Sky P as well, right? And the numbers from the SBS question about Straw Hats and Devil Fruit numbers connection gives us the remaining 2, 9, which when flipped also gives us 5 and 6, so it fulfills both roles, and all the numbers added together give us the San Eagle, right? Our ship. Now that concludes this theory about Luffy's fruit being the mythical ZOAN Nika no Mi. I hope you enjoyed this video, and sorry if it seemed all over the place at times, but please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to discuss this with you guys, and if you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I will be releasing more One Piece content regularly, and thanks so much and take care.